Ayman Khan here for Seconds Out with the one and only DAZN'S Joe Markowski. Joe, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you getting on?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Busy period, stressful period, I imagine, for you. And to Joshua fights are always big affairs. But the return against Jermaine Franklin, do you make of the fight?
Yeah, the return of AJ, also the start of our relationship with AJ in the UK, which is obviously a big thing for our business. So we're very excited about it.
In terms of the opponent, there were a number of fighters on the table. Does DAZN have any input in terms of what the opponent could have been for this fight?
Yeah, we have a seat at the table in those discussions. I think obviously Matchroom and Team AJ are the primary decision makers around who he wants to fight. We obviously have a voice in that conversation. But I think Jermaine Franklin was always on the list. He went up that list given his performance against Dillian Whyte at the end of last year. I think a lot of people thought he won that fight. He definitely impressed. So it made a lot of sense after that to have him as the opponent, and we're very happy with the opponent choice.
The trajectory for Joshua now is clearly on that rebuild. How far away do you feel he is from those bigger fights, those stadium fights, the ones against the Furies, the Wilders?
I think you have to see how this goes, right? I mean, I think I've learned in boxing you can't get too far ahead of yourself in planning the careers of an individual fighter. You know, anything can happen. It's heavyweight boxing. We've learned that a few times. So I think the focus has got to be on fight by fight. I think if he gets through this and looks good against Franklin on April the 1st, then looking sort of late summer, mid-summer maybe, a second fight of the year. But to be honest, we want to focus on this and making this as big an event as it can be, and AJ will focus on putting in the best performance possible. So yeah, we're excited about it.
One of the biggest things in recent days regarding DAZN is the recent price hike to £19.99 for a monthly subscriber. Joe, can you tell us the factors that went into that decision, please?
Yeah, I think that's the wrong way to look at it, if I may. I think the vast majority of our subscription base in the UK to date has been hardcore fight fans. We're not just a boxing service in the UK. You've seen us announce this week an NFL 10-year deal globally, with the exception of the US. So UK fans of NFL can be served by high-quality NFL programming from August. We've added women's sport. We've added PFL, MMA in recent months too. But the majority of our fans, as it stands, are hardcore fight fans. For us to continue serving those fans with as good a value proposition as we can, we need to look at our pricing. We did. We thought, let's serve both sets of fans. We'll serve the loyal customer base who stick with us, who have shown loyalty, who are in long-term relationships, if that is the right phrase, with DAZN, with a very good value. Only a slight increase per month. I think it's £4 over the course of the year if you play it out. If you elect to have the £99.99 annual pass, if you have the £9.99 a month annual contracting pass, that's also tremendous value. There's also going to be the more casual fan base, the more touristy fan base who come in and watch a fight like this, a big fight, a top tier fight, a fight that would normally under other platforms be a pay-per-view. We want to make sure we're serving them too. Clearly, we want to give pricing preference to the fans that show loyalty to DAZN and have commit to us for a long period of time. That's the majority of our subscription base. Looking at the sort of data in the last few days, I think I'm very confident that a very high percentage of the existing subscription base will be moving on to one of the more longer term passes, the annual or the monthly contract. And I think we made the right decision on the pricing.
Yeah, how has this announcement affected the DAZN subscribers as it is now? Have you seen a negative impact, or has it stayed the same?
We knew there would be some churn, there'd be a bit of noise. Right. But frankly, we know about boxing fans that if you serve them with a high quality schedule and big events like this, like Taylor Serrano 2, and month in, month out, you're giving them, high quality content, they're going to come back and they're going to stay. So we're focused on that. I think we've made the announcement. It's the right thing for our business. Now we're focused on executing what is going to be the best schedule in boxing.
Should there be a pay-per-view, then would a monthly subscriber have to pay a pay-per-view price on top of that? What's the situation there? Should a pay-per-view arise?
I think in the future, as and when there are pay-per-views on DAZN, there'll be case-by-case decisions made. This isn't a pay-per-view. In any other platform, this would be a pay-per-view. We told the boxing fans, the boxing media last year when we announced the launch of DAZN pay-per-view that we'd use it sparingly. We'd use it where we had to make big fights happen. We haven't had to use it for this one. We think this is a very strong schedule. This is the crown jewel of that schedule, but it's backed up with a very strong sort of packaging, notably including Taylor Serrano 2, which will be a repeat of the fight of last year.
Are there any fights to be added to the schedule? I believe Eddie's looking to work on a Manny Pacquiao versus Conor-Benn fight and other fights there, but are there any more in the pipeline to come?
We're always working on fights, and we're not just working with Matchroom on fights. We want to work with every promoter that's available to work with us. We want to be working with them. We've done that in the US. We're working on, obviously, Tank Garcia, hoping to close that one off. That demonstrates, I think, our commitment to working with a broader range of boxing promoters and boxing entities, be that Showtime, be that the team around Tank, be that any promoter in the UK. We're working with Wasserman Boxing on our X Series Misfits product. So we are open for business with anyone in the boxing who wants to do business and who wants to make great fights happen. That's what we're focused on.
Joe, the other thing I wanted to touch on with you was we've heard the stances regarding the Eubank Jr versus Conor-Benn fall out there. What was DAZN's position when that was going ahead in terms of wanting the fight to go ahead? What was the position from DAZN?
We wanted the fight to go ahead before we knew what had transpired, and as soon as we did, we knew the fight was in jeopardy and probably shouldn't go ahead. It was clearly a very stressful few days for everyone involved. We were obviously disappointed to lose the fight, but I think the right decision was taken. Look, there's an ongoing process that we're not particularly involved in, involving Conor-Benn, involving the board, involving the evidence he'll put forward, and we'll await to see the outcome of that. Clearly it was tracking to be a big event, but I think ultimately in sport these things have to be managed properly, and it was eventually.
Is there still interest in that fight?
Well, I think there's public interest in it, but it can't happen until there's some clarity as to what's happened with Conor-Benn and what's happened in relation to his licensing. We'll wait, like everyone else, for the outcome of that process, and we'll make a decision at that point. If the promoters want to put it on, we'll consider it. But I think there's a lot of information that needs to come out and conversations that need to happen before that's a reality.
Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis. The broadcasters brilliantly have agreed there won't be any issues with that fight, but is that fight in jeopardy? Conflicting reports.
I think that there's a contract that's being worked on. I think there's lots of chatter in boxing as normal. I think I prefer to leave it with the lawyers at the promotional entities. Golden Boy are, keeping us up to date on the negotiations, and we'll see what comes from that process. But we made a deal that I think works for all sides. Late last year. That's obviously subject to contract. That's the stage we're at. We're in the contracting phase. So I'm in LA next week. I'll be with Golden Boy. I'll be with Ryan. Hopefully we can get it done, because it's a fantastic fight that, as I say, is a sign that people can work across the aisle in boxing and make big fights happen. Stephen Espinoza at Showtime and I had a number of conversations. I applaud their openness to doing this. Hopefully we can get it over the finish line.
Just jumping back to the price point, Joe, can I ask you, is there a commitment that this price will stay fixed now from this point? We've seen recent fluctuations of price. I understand, of course, the $199 was an introductory price there, but is this fixed now?
We have no intention of raising our price anytime soon. What you have seen from DAZN is a commitment to invest in more content in all the markets we're in. The NFL deal we've done is a huge statement of our commitment to the UK, as well as many markets around the world. We want to be in business with big rights holders, putting on a broad range of sports content for our subscribers. As we do that, things may evolve, but we're a while from that happening, I think. For the moment, this is our pricing. We're very happy with it.
Congratulations on the NFL deal, and I see that British interest in NFL is rising there, and there's that the interest in that from the UK. But does DAZN's success hinge on football Premier League rights being secured on the platform in the future?
But clearly, the biggest rights, in UK sport are the Premier League rights. It doesn't mean you can't have a successful business without Premier League rights. We've built successful businesses of different shapes and sizes in many different markets around the world. In Germany, in Italy, in Spain and in Japan, we have domestic soccer rights, domestic football rights in each of those markets: Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, J-League. In Canada, we have a very successful, very profitable business built around NFL and Champions League, neither of which are domestic rights in those markets. They're big rights, of course they are, but they're not domestic sports. So look, we're building a business with a tailored strategy in each market. Boxing is absolutely central to our business. It's a big part of our business. It's not all we do. And I think in the UK and the US, you'll start to see us spread our wings and evolve what we are and what we're positioning ourselves as to the customer. The NFL deal, the UEFA Women's Champions League deal, the PFL MMA deal are just 3 examples of us spreading our wings.
Joe, pleasure speaking to you. Thanks for speaking to SecondsOut. Much appreciated, sir.
Thank you.